Hello, this is Brian at Dreis Krump. This is a short video of setup and an overview of the SN320NC control. At Dreis Krump, we build hydraulic press brakes anywhere from 45 tons up to 220 tons. All these presses share the same features and all use the same SN320D control. When your machine first arrives, go to the electrical box and you want to go ahead and pull out your service manual. Service manual will have some pertinent instructions on lifting the machine off, moving the machine, and general rigging instructions. You want to absolutely make sure you go through the manual and refer to the manual throughout this video. Also worth noting is inside the cabinet you'll find a spare set of keys to lock your electrical control cabinet. So once your machine is in place, you want to make sure you got plenty of room forward and back, left and right to access the machine. You're also going to want to make sure that you've got your anchor bolts in position at this point before leveling the machine. Once the machine is in fact placed either over the anchor bolts, we're going to get into the leveling procedure next. Go ahead and find your toolbox, which is strapped to the unit, and find these steel leveling pads. These steel leveling pads will be placed in each corner of the machine. You're going to want to have a real nice machinist level or digital level at this point. You're going to want to put the level on the ground edges of either the table or the die itself, and you want to work off the end of the machine. With your machinist level on the either one of those surfaces, go ahead and get it level in both the X and the Y direction. But you want to make sure you're absolutely working on the end of the machine, as there's a small crown in the center of the machine. So try to work off the ground surfaces on the end of the table there. Now for the oiling section of this setup, we're going to want to make sure we work off the top of the machine here and note the three positions here: the oil level temperature gauge, the oil fill cap, and you want to note the rotation. Here's your oil fill gauge, and here's your quarter turn fill cap. You're also going to want to make sure you note the capacity in your manual. You're going to need anywhere between 25 and 60 gallons of 68 type oil. And again, double check your oil fill. You should be 90% on your gauge. Once the oil is filled, go ahead and grab your up and down pedal for the ram. You're going to find a small circular connector underneath the control panel. This is both keyed and threaded. So line it up and it's held on with a couple threads. So here's your chart. These are all the things that probably need to be done at this point before you apply power to the machine. So make sure the machine is level and anchored to the floor. All the rust preventative coatings have been removed. The hydraulic reservoir has been completely filled and should be about 90% on the height gauge. The machine's been lubricated per the lubrication chart. That's all the grease fittings. It should be greased at the factory, so that should be fine for now. Also make sure you have a fusible disconnect, which has been installed by a certified electrician. All the motors and transformers have been pre-wired for the requested voltage when the machine was ordered. So check your invoice and make sure you're hooking it up to the right voltage. It's either 220 or 440. We're going to cover the hydraulic pump rotation now to make sure that the motor is spinning in the correct direction. This will require 2 people. Go ahead and hook up your incoming line to the RST and ground in the lower right hand corner. At the same time, second person is going to have to go up to the top of the machine and refer back to this original picture. They're going to want to note the rotation on the motor shroud and or the pump. And then it's going to require the other person to go ahead and momentarily start the machine while the other person is observing the rotation. This is going to be a momentary event. So in order to start the machine, just go ahead and turn your power on at the key and make sure you're in the inch mode and hit the green motor button. This will just need to run for a second or two until the observer can see if it's running in the correct direction. If you find the motor is in fact spinning in the wrong direction, you'll have to change 2 of the 3 incoming 3-phase leads, and that will get the motor running in the correct direction. At this point, your motor and pump should be rotating in the correct direction. Now is a good time to go ahead and get the manual out and do a quick review of the front control panel and familiarize yourself with the other control buttons before we move on to part 2 of the setup video.